Fall is officially here. What do you need to be throwing right now to catch more bass? We're going to talk about that.
Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Fish Talk.
Hello, we are back for another episode of 5 Minute Fish Talk, a show where I have 5 minutes on the clock to discuss all things fishing. This show appears every single Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time Zone, so click the red subscribe button down below to stay tuned. I just loaded 5 minutes on this time here. You know what that means. Boop. Time to get real. Thank you so much to Travis Austin, one of my wonderful viewers, for suggesting this topic. Today we're talking about fall fishing. What lures should you be throwing? What should you be doing to catch more bass? Guess what, folks? Bass fishing during the fall is fantastic. I absolutely love it. Why do I love it? Well, because during the winter, the fish get a lot more sluggish. They get a lot less active. So what do they need to move into the fall? What does like a bear do before they hibernate? Bingo, they eat. And so the same thing with bass. I mean, they are an animal, just like any other animal. The winter is just a sluggish time. Like for me, I sit around and I'm lazy during the winter, more so than during the summer. So I eat a lot during the fall. I go watch football, I eat a turkey leg, so on and so forth. Here's the thing, the bass do the same thing. They're chasing shad like crazy. So what do fish do? Where do they go? Generally speaking, wherever you find the bait is where you're gonna find the bass. Bingo, pretty easy, right? Well, not always that easy, but I would say start in the creek arms if you're talking about a bigger lake. If you're talking about a smaller lake, just keep moving around and look for bait. Try to look for some of the shallower pockets and whatnot. Should be able to find a few. But once you find the fish, what should you throw? Really? I mean, if they're chasing bait, right? The goal is always to match the hatch. So I've got a few different baits that we're going to talk about today. And really, I think you just got to mix and match until you find the one that they like the best. But I tend to throw a lot of white baits during the fall, even if I'm flipping and pitching. I'll throw white bait because if there's shad up in the grass, you throw a white tube and it looks a lot more like a shad and it's a lot more natural. Bada bing, bada boom, you got yourself a bass. But some of my favorite ones are these. You've seen this in a couple videos here recently. White chatterbait. I absolutely love this thing. It works fantastic. It catches big bass and you can move water very, very fast with it. This is my probably favorite fall fishing bait personally. They just catch big fish. I mean, I'm not going to go into super detail here. I'm just simply going to outline some of my favorite baits. If you have other baits that you like as well, make sure to drop a comment below and let the community of fantastic people know, because that's exactly what the show is. It's a community of people that are trying to help each other. You know, it's not just me. You guys know just as much as me, if not more in some instances. Probably more. Spinner bait, another great bait, right? You can cover water with this. I like to throw this more around wood, around timber, than I would like the chatterbait around the grass, generally speaking. Another one, swim bait, same concept. This one's generally going to be a little bit better in the clear water situations. Chatterbait to me is a stain to murky water bait. It works in clear water, but you got to reel the heck out of it. If you want to catch fish that are not chasing quite as aggressively, a swim bait might be a little bit better thing. Other than that, you know what? People love topwaters. I made a 5 minute fish talk about topwaters. Boom shakalaka, topwater frog, or topwater Zara spook, buzz bait, so on and so forth. Cover some water, throw a topwater, get some explosive strikes, and have yourself a good old time out there. Boom shakalaka, topwater frog, keep that thing rigged up. Square bill. I don't throw very many crankbaits. The reason being is because I'm around a lot of grass, and so I tend to get my crankbaits just hung up in the grass. It's really not worth throwing in the first place. So I don't throw a lot of these, but for those of you that have a lot of shallow rock, wood, so on and so forth, and less grass, square bill can be very, very good. You can cover a lot of water, so on and so forth. You're kind of seeing a common theme here, right? Very much a reaction bait bite. But that being said, you can always have your jig tied on because these fish are aggressively feeding. It doesn't mean that they're not going to eat bluegill. They will eat bluegill. They will eat crawfish. You can still throw your big jigs around the shallow cover and try to score a big fish. Aside from that, another bait that I really, really like is a fluke. And this thing's really good during the summer as well. But once they start chasing bait, I mean, what looks more like a shad than a fluke? Really, there's not much. This thing is so natural. It's stupid. So like I said, very much a reaction bait time of year, but that being said, you got to listen to the fish. It's not like there's always this perfect theory where, oh, this bait's going to work every time during the fall. A chatterbait might work 9 times out of 10, but you go to the next lake and it just does not work and you got to throw a Ned rig or whatever. But realistically, these are kind of the baits that I would like to throw. These are the ones that once you get on a bite with them, you can catch a whole pile of fish very quick. Don't text me during an episode of 5 Minute Fish Talk, but you know what? we're done here. Canceled. Okay, thank you so very much for watching. Let me know, what did I miss? What is a bait that you like throwing during the fall that I did not discuss today? Drop a comment below. Otherwise, if you have any suggestions for another episode of 5 Minute Fish Talk, make sure to drop those in the comments below. I would love your suggestions. Have yourself a fantastic weekend, and guess what? We'll catch you next time.